Sophie, thank you. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Wednesday's Look North. Our top story tonight. Another battery storage plant is planned for West Yorkshire, but campaigners living nearby say they fear for the destruction of the countryside.
What the whole village and the community is up in arms about is that it's the siting of these.
But the company behind the plans for the battery storage plant say there is little risk to the communities. Also tonight, holiday homeowners in our region say they've been left thousands of pounds out of pocket because of a website glitch. Building bridges, police help young people get ready for the Leeds West Indian Carnival. And take in the natural beauty of Scampston Hall Gardens in North Yorkshire, now nominated for a top award.
Well, we ended the day with a lot more cloud, and this is a taste of things to come for tomorrow. I'll be back with the forecast for tomorrow and a look ahead at the bank holiday weekend later in the programme.
Hello, thank you for watching. Good to have your company this Wednesday evening. First tonight, people in a West Yorkshire village are opposing plans for 2 battery energy storage plants to be constructed on greenbelt land. Residents in Ledston near Leeds say the development will be a threat to nature and could pose a fire risk. But one of the developers, Harmony Energy, says the fire risk is very small and the site has been chosen because it's close to power lines. It's one of several battery plants across our region now being opposed by concerned residents. Here's our business correspondent, Spencer Stokes.
The proposed battery farm is going to be on the opposite side.
Take a walk down this well-used public footpath on the edge of Ledston near Leeds, and it goes right past the 4-acre site where Harmony Energy have applied to build a battery energy storage plant. But campaigners are worried about noise, the fire risk, and what they see as the industrialisation of the countryside.
The villagers and communities around here 100% understand the need to generate renewable energies and to investigate new technologies. What the whole village and the community is up in arms about is that it's the siting of these. Because of the such close proximity of all the wildlife and the RSPB Fair Bennings, and also there's housing and the residents and local communities so near the siting of these battery energy storage solutions.
The Harmony Energy scheme at Ledston is just one proposal for the village. Another firm, Banks Energy, want to develop a nearby site. Both would look similar to this project. Storing energy is a growing business. That need for battery storage plants is a result of the country switching over to renewable energy. On a day like today, the turbines are spinning, generating power, but there's comparatively little demand for it. A battery plant allows it to be stored and then accessed when demand rises. But each battery proposal is controversial. At Ledston, residents have launched a campaign against both plans, and fire is one of the main concerns.
If they do go up in flames, it'll be catastrophic. The wildlife, the 3 schools around, the green belt, it's just so dangerous.
It could be located on a brownfield site, not in the open countryside, not in greenbelt. It needs to be. There are grid connectors in other locations which are next to brownfield sites.
Globally, there have been 63 battery plant fires, but Harmony Energy say the risk is low, and they defend their use of greenfield sites.
If it didn't meet the strict safety thresholds, we wouldn't be able to get finance for it or insurance for it. They're remotely monitored 24/7 and routinely maintained to ensure optimum performance. And any sign of detection of temperature increases, the whole system just shuts off. Brownfield sites inherently have a lot more residents and properties built up alongside them too. So if there were more brownfield sites, of course, we would build them there if they had the adequate grid connections, but there just isn't the land available, hence the reason we look at greenfields.
As the number of applications for battery energy plants across our region grow, so do the campaigns against an unexpected development from the switch to renewables. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North, Ledston.
Spencer, thank you. Now, there's some breaking news as we've just gone on air. A development in the future of the homeware chain Wilco, which, as we know, has its headquarters in Worksop. Our reporter, Corinne Wheatley, joins us now. Corinne, we know this news has broken in the last sort of 30 minutes or so. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm afraid this is not the development that many were hoping for over the future of Wilco. As you know, it went into administration earlier this month, putting 12,500 jobs around the country at risk. There was hope that part of the business would be saved, but we've just heard from the GMB union that represents some of the Wilco workforce, and they said they met with administrators today and were informed there's no longer any prospect that the majority of the business will be saved. The GMB union says this means redundancies for staff in store and at call centres, and that will begin during the coming week. Some stores may be bought, but significant job losses are now expected. So not the hope that the GMB union and many in Worksop had for the future of Wilco. We know that local politicians were very keen to see some sort of rescue deal, weren't they? Wilco employ 1,000 people at the distribution centre in Worksop and another at 400 at head office, along with several thousand more around the country. We are waiting to get more details from the administrators. This has come from the GMB union. The unions say they will continue to support members through the process and will fight to ensure members receive every penny they are entitled to. But yes, not a positive development coming from the GMB union this evening. We've contacted PwC, the administrators, and we're waiting for a response. We'll try and get you another update on the late bulletin tonight.
Corinne, thank you for that latest update. Next tonight, landlords in Yorkshire who are waiting for payments from an online accommodation site say the delay is outrageous. Booking.com says an unforeseen technical issue is the reason why some hosts are owed 2 months' rent. Property owners say they're waiting for thousands of pounds, which is having a serious impact on cash flow. Heidi Tomlinson takes up the story.
Right, so this is the accommodation.
Yes, come on up, come on up. This is where I sort of bring people in. As you can see, we've got the bathroom just here, we've got another bedroom here, and this is the other bedroom that I use.
At £50 a night, this converted loft in Harrogate has proved a reliable source of income for Claire Brooke. She lets it out via online sites, predominantly Booking.com. The way it works is that the holiday accommodation site receives money from customers and then pays the hosts after taking commission. But recently there have been delays in payments from Booking.com, leaving property owners out of pocket.
So I'm currently owed just over £2,000. I mean, they've not paid me since the 27th of June this year. And I'm really disappointed. I'm angry about this. The payments have just stopped, and initially it was because they were doing financial maintenance. Fair enough, I get that. But for 2 months to be updating your financial systems is just not feasible, not with a company that size.
So do you still have faith in Booking.com?
I would like to have faith, but I feel very let down by them.
Amanda Ridgway from Sheffield feels the same. She has a rental property in Cumbria. Booking.com hasn't paid her for August. She's down £2,500.
It's incredibly frustrating, and more than anything, it's the additional admin burden on me that it takes in order to chase this money in order for it to arrive. They need to keep to their terms. They hold us to theirs, and very, very stringently. It feels like they know they have the monopoly, so they can treat us how they like.
It's an issue that's affected accommodation hosts around the world. Booking.com says we have been working urgently to fix unforeseen technical issues that have impacted a small number of our partners. We acknowledge that for some this has taken longer than it should have. Back in Harrogate while we were filming, Claire gets a response from the accommodation site.
So I've just had an email come into my account saying that they're processing a payment for a reservation.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
That is good news, and I'm delighted. I sort of don't believe it, but yes. Though I do have questions because it's just mentioning one reservation, and I'm not sure what one without checking that one is.
It turned out to be a £50 deposit, a fraction of what she's owed. Claire is now hoping to secure more direct bookings to avoid the uncertainty and commission involved with online agents. Heidi Tomlinson, BBC Look North.
You're watching Wednesday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. Sheffield United women say they have promotion in their sights. We'll catch up with the squad ahead of the new season. Now, South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service says it's been dealing with a large fire at a recycling plant just off the Parkway in Sheffield. The facility caught fire this morning, resulting in plumes of smoke in the surrounding area. People have been told to keep windows and doors closed. Well, Mark Ansell is there for us tonight. Mark, what more can you tell us?
Well, Phil, you can still see the white plumes of smoke billowing from the warehouse behind me. This is where they sort commercial waste, including wood, paper and plastics. And if you think it looks dramatic now, you should have seen it earlier, because there was a fire that ripped through the heart of the warehouse. It happened really quickly because the contents of the building was so dry, and plumes of black smoke could be seen from a long way around here, not just in the Attercliffe area where I am now. At its height, 50 firefighters were tackling the blaze. The cause is unknown. Thankfully, no one was injured. And earlier, I spoke to Aid Parkin from South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. He's leading the efforts to tackle the blaze.
This will take some considerable time due to the depth of the fire. There's around 400 tonnes of waste. We've started on the process of separating the waste at the moment and extinguishing it and removing it from the site. So potentially we're looking at 2 or 3 days to get this extinguished and removed from the site.
Why are there so many fires at recycling centres or waste centres like the one behind me?
Various reasons. So we have as a deliberate fires, but such as these, it's just the type of waste that we're coming against nowadays. You've got lithium-ion batteries, you've got other types of batteries, and we're not quite sure what's in the waste because it's coming from commercial sites. So that's one of the main issues we're facing.
Mark, we've been watching some of those pretty dramatic images from today, as you said. Have the fire service given any indication when they think this blaze is likely to be out?
Well, they're hoping by the end of tomorrow. Overnight, there will be 11 firefighters tackling this blaze, and they're doing it right now, actually. And then tomorrow morning, there'll be rejuvenated efforts to get on top of it. Now, one thing that's important to point out is that residents and business owners in this area are being told to keep their doors and windows closed until the blaze is out. Back to you, Phil.
OK, Mark Ansell live in Sheffield. Thank you very much. Next this evening, the Leeds Carnival will take to the streets again on Bank Holiday Monday. As final preparations are underway, there's a new scheme to help improve communication between the community and the local police. And they're using carnival costume making to build those bridges. Young people from Chapeltown and Hare Hills have designed costumes inspired by the themes of the law and order, while they discuss ways of helping police better understand community concerns around issues such as stop and search. Abijiola has the story.
The vibrant costumes and the energy of the parade are obvious, but what's often overlooked is that Carnival was born of political struggle, the emancipation of slavery. It's a celebration of Caribbean culture and heritage, costumes reflecting history, but some also make reference to topical issues.
So would you see the police as someone you respect?
This year, for the first time, there'll be costumes made as part of a partnership project between West Yorkshire Police and the Bridge Community Group. Costume making has been used to spark discussions about the role of the police and how they interact with young people.
Hales, Chapeltown, the inner city, where we see the use of police powers, and sometimes it's used well, sometimes there's a bit of an imbalance in the use of police powers. It's trying to look at how are the police using the powers in the inner city, but also how do we also build trust.
Police officers joined in with earlier costume-making sessions. There have long been concerns that police have overused stop and search powers in black communities. This project is part of a longer-term scheme to address that.
If you cannot explain why you're stopping more black people than white, then that is not OK. And we want to address that disproportionality. And we want to make sure that communities that are already over-policed, already feeling that they don't get a fair and just service from the police, we want them to get the right protections. We want trust to be rebuilt, and we want that communication and that conversation to take place.
White, brown, pink.
The coloured feathers represent what the young people feel are important aspects of policing. This experience has for some changed their view of the force.
Without a good relationship with the police, that's when things go wrong, when people don't trust the police. But if we have that bridge, then it it makes everyone more comfortable while they're doing their job and while interacting with them.
I used to hear like a lot of stuff about the police and I kind of got scared about them, but I've learned that they're not really scary because they're just people. Some of them can abuse their power, but that's not everyone. You can't judge like every police officer for something some police officers do.
Speak to younger people on the streets or educate and come into schools and see what they really want, because we are the voice of the future generation.
When Carnival takes to the streets on Monday, tens of thousands will turn out to watch. Behind the scenes, work will continue to build bridges between the police and the community they serve. Abby Jayola, BBC Look North, Leeds.
And of course we'll have full coverage of the Carnival on Bank Holiday Mondays Look North. Now, police in South Yorkshire are working to recover missing footage following a suspected data loss. Digital forensic experts believe body cam footage from around 69 cases has been affected, which in some instances can be used in evidence in criminal and civil proceedings. Well, our reporter James Vincent is outside South Yorkshire Police now. James, this sounds like a really quite serious matter following several recent breaches of data.
Yeah, the worrying thing about this, Phil, is that South Yorkshire Police don't know where this body cam footage is or how it disappeared in the first place. And body cam footage really usual for police officers now. It's part of the everyday uniform. They use it during incidents, they use it during arrests, partly due to safety of people that they're dealing with and safety of police officers as well. The amount of footage that has gone missing, 69 cases, like you say, stretching from 2020 to 2023. And they're going through that now to work out whether there are any data issues, whether there are any issues of victim anonymity or any issues with current court cases and people going through the criminal justice system. So there's a lot of frantic work going on in the building behind me and other South Yorkshire police sites to try and work out exactly what's happened here.
And James, do we know the footage or the material that has gone missing? Do we know what it contains?
Well, yeah, we know that it contains that body cam footage of arrests, incidents like cannabis seizures, sexual abuse cases and domestic abuse cases. So there are real concerns about anonymity. But the interesting thing is the police say this is not a hack. This has not come externally from a hack. This is from it being deleted. They say the evidence points to this information being deleted from their systems.
OK, James, Vincent, thank you very much for joining us there live from South Yorkshire Police headquarters. OK, let's get some more breaking news on the Wilco story now. The administrators of the workshop-based shop chain Wilco have sent us a statement saying they are still in discussions with people interested in buying parts of the business. They say that whilst it's likely that there will be redundancies and store closures, but for now all stores do remain open and staff continue to be paid. Contrary to speculation, there are currently no plans to close any stores next week. So that's the latest response from the administrators, which has just come into our newsroom. And of course, we'll have much more on this on our late bulletin tonight on BBC One at 10:30. Now, the Leeds Festival starts on Friday and people are being urged to begin planning their journeys now. National Highways says the festival is the second biggest impact on traffic on England's motorways and major roads of any event. Only the British Grand Prix generates more traffic. People travelling to the event at Bramham Park will encounter busy roads from today until Monday, with additional bank holiday weekend travellers plus roadworks. Now, the Women's Championship season kicks off this weekend with teams hoping to benefit from the surge in interest following the Lionesses' success in the Euros and the World Cup. Sheffield United's women are the only team from our region in the second tier, and they have big ambitions to make it into the Women's Super League. Our sports reporter Sally Hurst has been to watch them in training this morning.
Some will say we're a sleeping giant on the women's side, but we're waking up now and it's looking very positive. So in this instance, Jodie, to take a little bit more space, and you can invert a little bit in this instance.
Sheffield United women's head coach Jonathan Morgan was brought in to save the team from relegation last season. Having done that, he now has Women's Super League in his sights.
I'll be lying to you if I didn't say that we don't have our own ambitions, and I'll be lying to you if I said that we don't think that we think that we're here just to make up the numbers, because we're not. We are going to be competitive, and that's the most important thing. But the ambition is to get to the WSL. The timeline of that is sort of undetermined. It could be this year, it could be in 4 years. That's the reality.
The Blades are the only team in our region competing in football's second tier. There are none in the top flight. So this season the team is going fully professional. That means full-time salaried players who don't have to juggle part-time work with training.
So we're training in the daytime rather than at night times. Last year our sort of training was like 7 till 10 roughly. A lot of girls then had to go to work the next day, getting up at 6 o'clock, and they have no real recovery time within the week. So that's the biggest difference for me, where they get to come and train, they get lunch, they go home, relax the rest of the day and then go again.
The club's brought in new players too, some from the Women's Super League, the WSL. Like Jess Sigsworth from Doncaster, who's played for Manchester United but started her career right here.
I first started my football career at Sheffield United Centre of Excellence, so when I was a young girl, and I really enjoyed it, and that kind of started my football career. So to come back now after playing for all the teams I have, it's an amazing feeling.
New signing Jodie Hutton also has WSL experience and is hoping the success of the Lionesses will inspire a new generation of fans to come and watch them play this season.
The Euros last year, that made a massive difference, and for now, seeing how well they've done in the World Cup, I think that will help as well. I know that Chef last season got quite a few fans, and so hopefully we can get the same this season.
And it's about time that this region did have a top-flight women's football team, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all on the same journey and we all want the same, so I think that will help us massively.
With an upsurge in interest in women's football, big clubs are finally starting to invest more in the untapped potential of the women's game. Sally Hurst, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Thanks. Now, Scampston Walled Garden in Malton is celebrating a nomination in the Historic Houses Garden of the Year award. Managed by the Ledyard family, the garden is one of 6 finalists across the country competing for the crown in a public vote. Nicola Rees has been to see what makes it quite so special.
It's a magnet for butterflies and bees, and at this time of year, the meadow garden at Scampston is an explosion of colour.
It's looking at what form does that flower make and what colour it is, and it's putting the form and the colour together to create like a composition. So it's a 3D painting. That's what we're looking after. We always say we've got an early Piet, because it's one of his early kind of works in the UK.
Dutch designer Piet Oudolf transformed what was a derelict area into one of the country's finest modern gardens.
So this lovely area here, this is millennia transparent, and by its very nature you can kind of see through it, but it's this lovely, exactly, you can't stop, you have to touch it. You have to touch it, it's tactile.
It's been a labour of love for years for head gardener Andy Karavix.
We've got the areas with all the lovely soft plantings, so this is just gives a completely different feel to people as well when they're visiting.
It's so serene, and I love the colouring, and it's absolutely fantastic. I like the design, the layout, everything. I adore it.
I love the smell of the geraniums and the smell of the box. Absolutely love those. I like seeing the bright coloured flowers in the garden over there. I love the veg garden. Wish my veg grew that big.
There's no weeds here. So yeah, it's very nice. We've cycled here, so it's been nice to just do some of the countryside and get some gardening. But you can't carry any plants home, that's the only problem.
The judges agree this garden is special. It's been shortlisted in the Historic Houses Garden of the Year award, beating off competition from hundreds of entries. The 18th century walls of the original kitchen garden still stand today, along with some really lovely old features, like this bell. It was used to summon the gardener. And it still works.
It still works.
The Scampston Walled Garden is one of 6 finalists across the UK. All they need now is your vote.
I think it's just a matter of just continuing to keep pushing, and if people like this garden, it'd be really nice for people to go and vote, because it'll mean a massive thing for us. If we can be Garden of the Year 2023, it's something that I think we'll all remember.
Nicola Rees, BBC Look North, Malton.
Wow, doesn't that look absolutely stunning? That is a must-go-to destination, is it not, Keely? Especially on a nice sunny day.
It puts my hanging baskets to shame, Phil.
Yeah, mine too. I've got some hanging baskets.
Have you? Very good.
I think the summer hasn't been too kind.
No, I think they maybe drowned a little. Right, we've got some lovely pictures actually coming in. All of them are of around sunrise this morning. The first one, some lovely oranges and red colours there at Red Myers Reservoir near Sheffield. The second picture, some lovely mist over the heather there in Strensall. And the third picture, also taken just before dawn, is of Scarborough. Some lovely colours in the sky there. And of course, red sky in the morning, Shepherd's warning, and we have had a weather system out to the west, and that's going to affect us over the next 24 hours. Keep your pictures coming in to the Weather Watchers page, bbc.co.uk/Weather Watchers. I'm on Twitter at Keely Donovan, or on Instagram too, Keely.Donovan. I've actually just put something on the social media pages about the Leeds Reading Festival, so if you are packing up for that, get onto social media to have a little look at the forecast. So tomorrow does look like there's going to be a lot of cloud in the forecast. The cloud could produce some rain and drizzle at times. It should brighten through the afternoon, particularly across parts of North Yorkshire. What we'll find is over the next few days, it's a little bit fresher and cooler, and that's because the air is going to come down from the northwest, and a bit of a mixed bag for the bank holiday weekend. Some showers, some sunshine as well. So we have had a lot of cloud developing through the last few hours, and the cloud has been producing a little bit of patchy rain and drizzle, and this will be the theme for the next 24 hours. So overnight tonight we'll keep a lot of the cloud thick enough to produce some patchy rain and drizzle. That rain and drizzle tending to move northwards before redeveloping again later in the night. I think there'll be mist and hill fog too, but it's not going to be a cold night. Temperatures dropping back to around 15 or 16 degrees. Let's have a little look at those high water times then, at 9:52 in Filey and at 9:24 in Whitby. So a lot of cloud to start the day tomorrow. That cloud producing some rain and drizzle in places. You can see how the main body of the cloud and the rain does move away south. It's still producing some showers as it does so, but we should see an improvement through the afternoon to brighter skies and hopefully some sunshine moving in across parts of North and West Yorkshire in particular. Temperatures tomorrow a shade down on today's values, getting up to around 20 or 21 degrees. Sunshine and showers for Friday and Saturday. Some of the showers heavy and thundery, particularly on Saturday, Philip.
Not bad, Keely, but nothing to write home about.
Not really.
Is it? Maybe we'll have to wait till September when the kids go back to school.
Well, we keep pinning our hopes on the next month, don't we?
That's as far as we go. Thanks for watching. Back at 10:30 tonight.